Hello, I'm Grindle, and welcome to VRPrints, a new project series I've recently been working on, which is scratching some itches that haven't been scratched since the good old days of Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. Essentially, I've gotten myself a brand new toy. It's a Bamboo Lab P1S 3D printer, and it's very fun to play around with. And it wasn't long into playing around with it that I realized it would probably work well with another one of my fun toys, my virtual reality headset, the MetaQuest 3. I realized that using the program Sculptor VR, which is a program within virtual reality that allows you to sculpt things as the name would suggest, I could probably make some kind of cool object and then export it from the headset, import it into the 3D printer, and thereby make something I crafted in virtual reality exist in the real world. And so without much thought, I decided that the first object I would try to sculpt would be a gargoyle. This was for several simple reasons. Firstly, I like gargoyles a lot, so I knew I would have fun making it. Secondly, gargoyles are a mythical creature, and by nature none of them look really exactly the same, so I could build it without reference pictures at all, and do it entirely from my own mind. I mean, if I was making a horse or an action figure or something, I would have to worry about proportions and whatnot, but since gargoyles are not real, I could really let my imagination fly and not worry too much about getting all of the details right, because it's from my imagination. I wanted it to look suitably gothic and creepy, so I made sure to make it look skinny and muscular and have snarling teeth, and I was also putting as many details into it as I could because I really wanted to see what level of detail the machine could achieve. Therefore, I made sure to put in teeth and nostrils and eyes, gave it a forked tongue, gave it creepy claws, and even gave it some muscles. Sculptor VR has a really cool feature where you can turn on symmetry, and so I did this. Therefore, I only had to make one side of the monster, and it would replicate it exactly the same on the other side. I could have turned off symmetry at any point if I wanted to have the creature have its head turned to one side or one claw raised or something, but since this is my very first 3D model in the program, I decided to keep it nice and simple. And once the VR sculptor of my gargoyle was looking as I imagine it should, I simply exported it from the VR headset onto my computer and dropped the OBG into the Bamboo Lab's proprietary printer program, Bamboo Studios. Try saying that sentence 3 times fast. I had worried at first that there would be some kind of communication issues and conversion issues, and that I would have to do all sorts of cleaning up of the file and converting the file to make it work on the program, but I literally just dropped it in, and it was good to go. I added supports, which are basically these little tree models that allow the program to print properly, but once again, all you have to do is click Add Supports and it auto-generates the ones it needs. It's all shockingly user-friendly, and I really didn't expect that 3D printer programs had reached this level of consumer usability. And no, this is not an ad, I'm just really enjoying my new toy. I decided to print 2 at a time. I was originally going to print 3 at a time, but it was getting late and I didn't want to leave the program running overnight, so I printed 2 at a time, and after about 3 hours, I had my gargoyle. It of course came out with the little trees on, but you simply snap those off, and once those are all snapped off, it's there in the flesh, so to speak. I'll likely end up painting them, and if I do, I'll create an updated video or just post them on the Discord or something. But nevertheless, as they are to this point, I'm completely amazed. This is some Star Trek level nonsense. I feel like I went into the holodeck and sculpted something, and then brought it out onto the rest of the ship. It's a tangible physical sculpture I'm holding between my own 2 little hands in the real world that I crafted in virtual reality. It's kind of insane. This will definitely not be the only print VR video I make in this series, because making this little gargoyle is some of the most fun artistically I've had in a long while. And before you jump in and start suggesting I build new things, sorry, this is not a new build request series. I'm not abandoning Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts either. I no doubt will play that again in some time, but I already have a lot of good ideas of things that I want to make, and I'm just going to start churning them out. It really feels like my only limit is my own imagination, and I can't wait to make a bunch of weird monsters and action figures and all sorts of strange stuff. But regardless, there you have it, a gargoyle I sculpted in virtual reality and then brought into the real world through 3D printing. If you want to see more of this kind of content, then stick around, more's to come. If you want to listen to some spooky stories, then consider checking out our second channel, Dark World Bled, uploading every fortnight. Links in the description or pinned comment or whatever. And until next time, thanks for watching. I have been and still am Grindle.